Hello, BookTube. It's whole time here. It's been a while since I've done a book haul. It's been well over a month because I have been stocking up on non-fiction books for non-fiction November. Plus, I love history and biography, so I've been going through a massive binge of it. I can't stop. I'm not burnt out yet, and I can't even tell you how much I've read over the last pretty much October. It's been a bit wild, but anyway, I'll start with the the interesting stuff because a lot of this is Australian themed, and it's you should expect it by now on this channel. But we'll start with the ones that aren't, and there's three books here. Um, uh, September, I read the Things I Carried by Tim O'Brien. It was a reread for me. I haven't read it since high school, and I loved it so much. And I was like, I need more Tim O'Brien in my life. And so I brought two more books by him. I brought Going After Katayo. I don't think that's how you say it, but I've heard this is amazing, so I picked it up because I want to learn more about Tim O'Brien, and I picked up his own memoir, If I Die in a Combat Zone, and I've heard great things about this too. So those two are on the docket, and maybe I'll do this one for nonfiction November. It's so tiny, so I'll do it. I got those, and then a new release I picked up. Um, oh my god, what's it called? The Land of Sweet Forever by Harper Lee. This is a posthumous collection of her like unfinished stuff or whatever. I'm amazed it took the estate 10 years to release this, especially after the controversy of The Ghost of the Watchman, but I thought it's been long enough and I need more Harper Lee in my life. I reread To Kill a Mockingbird for this. I reread Ghost of the Watchman, so I can have those fresh in my mind when I came to this, and I'll talk about more in my wrap up or whatever. But it was interesting. I can see this was scraps pretty much. But I picked it up because I really like Harper Lee, and she's not a favorite all time favorite writer for me personally, but it's just refreshing to hear her voice again. It's very lovely. And then the last thing, so that's like the non-Australian stuff. The rest of it's just boring. But in terms of the last bit of fiction here, I got the collected poems of Les Murray. Now I've mentioned Les on my channel before, but I didn't own any Les Murray, and I found this at an op shop for like literally $2, and it's like a massive like 800-page collection of his verse and poetry, and I Les is amazing. He's such a fun read. If you haven't read him, please do. He's what do I need to say? He's Les Murray. If you ever seen an anthology that's created by him, please pick it up because this man was incredible. And so I finally own some Les Murray in my collection. And now the rest of it's gonna be biography and history. So strap in. This is so fun. What did I get first? I'm just picking up some random ones. There's no theme. I literally threw these on my desk and there's no order. We have Frank Bonagin. I can't. I'm so sorry. I can't say names. Dreamers and Schemers: A Political History of Australia. Now there aren't that many political history books of Australia, and so I thought, why not check out this one? It's 400 whatever pages. It's not short, and it's all the way from the indigenous or people all the way until like COVID, I think, which is a long ass time to write about, especially politics, because a lot happens obviously for a long time, and I'm really interested to see how he writes this. So I can't wait to get to that. I'll save that for nonfiction November coming up. I know. And then we have two biographies here by David Day. I've always heard of David, but I've never read any of his books. And we have his biography of John Curtin, a Prime Minister during World War II. I've read a good bit of Curtin. He's always an interesting figure. He's an underdog, I think, in a lot of ways. You don't have to blow the dust off him as much as you do certain other politicians from that time, like Fisher or Hughes or Menzies. But anyway, I can't wait to get to this. I love a good book about John Curtin. He's so interesting. And I also have his book on Ben Chifley as well. Now, I don't know much about Chifley. I know he's extremely important to Labour and unions and all of that. That's literally all I know. And I know, and I can't wait to get to it pretty much. I'm so excited. I love biographies right now. I'm going through a massive binge. And then we'll keep on with um, whatever we're going on about. I found a hardcover edition of The Truth of the Matter by Mr. Gough Whitlam. I've mentioned this on my channel before. It's one of the most famous books in Australian politics. It's incredible reading. I loved it so much. The reason I got the hardcover is because I have the trade paperback, and it has an introduction by Anthony Albanese, our current Prime Minister, and I thought, I can't get rid of that. But I did find a hardcover for like $1, and I was like, give it to me, please. And because, I don't know, it's nice to have a hardcover of this iconic book. It is so lovely. And then we're jumping a bit around. We have The Great War here. This is a massive 800-page or more book about Australia during World War One. That's all I know about it. I don't know much about World War One in terms of what we've done outside of Anzac, and I can't wait to learn more about it. I hope there is a manifesting a bit more. There's a bit of talk about Billy Hughes because he's such an interesting person, but like, I don't think it will. But that's just me being a bit delulu. But anyway, I did get this, and then we're jumping back to biography. Biography again. I picked up Robert Menzies, A Life by A.W. Martin. This is volume 1. I've read this like 2 days ago, and I did order the second volume online secondhand. And I will talk about this more in my wrap up, but iconic reading. This is one of my favorite Menzies biographies. Pick it up if you ever see it. It's really interesting. It's approachable. It is a bit dry, I will be honest, but I think it does a good job exploring Menzies' early life. And just incredibly great reading, and I can't wait to get to volume 2. Then the last 3 books we have today. The Life and Death of Harold Holt by Tom Frame here. This is another Prime Minister biography. Harold Holt, 60s. I know he ended White Australia policy, which is good, but then he disappeared when he went into the ocean. And it's kind of like our JFK conspiracy. He's pretty much the only one that has genuine conspiracy theories about his disappearance, and because we never found the body or whatever. And especially when you look into everything that was like, the universe was telling him not to go in the water that day. Like, from previous experience, he's nearly had a drowning, to newspapers saying stuff about him, about his health. He was warned by his doctor not to swim again. So much stuff went on. There was an affair going on at the same time, and there's, again, just do a wiki page about it to get a handle on his story. But so much went on. But again, I do have to say, because it's so iconic, despite the fact this man drowned or disappeared, whatever, as prime minister, we did give him the most greatest tribute ever by naming a pool after him, which is so iconic, and it's still up today, and it will forever be a tribute to Harold Holt. So I can't wait to get to this, even though he's not the most exciting person ever as a politician. And then I have the Hawk Ascending. This is a short account of the origins of Bob Hawke and his journey to being prime minister, pretty much from his union days. This is by Paul Kelly. I'm hit and miss with Paul Kelly because he's been around for so long as a journalist, and I've read a lot of his books. I've read his book on Rudd and Gillard. I've read his books on the dismissal to and all of his books around Gough Whitlam, and it's interesting because I feel like, despite the fact he was very much there at the time as a journalist, and his books came out during that time period, like, he was very early on when it comes to books about certain political events and all that. I'm not gripped by him, and I'm really hurt because I really want to be, but I'm always interested to see a book about Hawke, and so I picked it up because it's short and I want to see what happened. And then lastly, this is one of my ones I really want to do for non-fiction November. This is Churchill and Australia here by Graham Freinberg. He done a great biography of Gough Whitlam too. But this is all about Churchill's relationships with Australia. As you know, John Curtin and Churchill famously did not get along, as Curtin was always right when it came to the treatment of Australian by British generals and especially Churchill himself. And the fact that Churchill never came to Australia. And it's interesting, but I don't know much about this, but I really want to get to it because I want to learn more about this. And I'm not much of a Churchill girly. I haven't read anything by Churchill, so I'm pretty bit biased when it comes because this will be the first book on Churchill I will read pretty much. And yeah, that's my whole. I had thought I'd quickly do a quick update on some of the books I've got recently. And yeah, let me know what you think of the books I've got. And yeah, thank you so much for watching BookTube, and I will see you next time.